Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to Turquoise Bay Studios. Ivett here. Just trying to get set up. Hi Veronica, thank you for signing in. I appreciate it. We're going to get started here shortly. Just give me one moment, please. Hi everyone. Let's see. How's everyone doing this evening? Hi Melissa, thank you for coming in. I do appreciate it. Well, before we get started, we need to get some things, some housekeeping in per se. So we will be working with our inks this evening, and also with, let me see, we'll need some ink pads, ink, stamps if you have them. So let's just give a moment for everyone to come in and sign in. It's on a Tuesday evening. I'm sure there's lots of people that are probably working and just getting home. So we just give them a few more minutes to allow for a few more people to come in. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, Lena. Thank you for joining me. Alrighty, so today we're going to be working with two different types of inks. Well, a couple of different types of inks, but mainly for our end project, we're going to be using the Distress Oxides and the Distress Inks by Ranger. Is what we're going to be doing, and we're going to be altering some tickets this evening. So let me move them over to my work desk so you guys have an idea of what I'm talking about. Let's see. So generally when we think of tickets, we think of like movie tickets, so and you know, attraction tickets. We're just going to be altering tickets this evening so that we can use in our projects, so that we can embellish them and add some different elements to our project. Let's see. And let's see, I have a little ramekin in here with a ton of tickets that I've already made, that I have already made. And the way that we get them started is, well, it depends. Like for instance, I have a ticket die, and the ticket die cut like this. So I get a bunch of tickets in one, as you can see here. And then This one I've already distressed, and then you could just, you know, tear them off to use. And here are some that I've put together. So this is what we're going to be doing this evening, is making some tickets and showing you how to achieve these colors on them and distressing them. So let's see, let me get this going. So I normally keep my tickets, I cut them out just for ease of use, and I keep them in a tray like this where I've made my own little boxes, and then I have my ephemera already here ready to go for me when I have a project. So this is what my ticket die looks like, or cuts out the tickets like. So we'll be altering some of these. Let me take some of these out. I just have them pre-cut and ready. You can also use, let's see, there is a pretty, that one is by Tim Holtz, that die cut, but there is also another die cut that's pretty inexpensive, and that one is by KS Crafts, and I think it's like $6 or $7, under $6 I think it is, on Amazon. And I had it here a moment ago. I will find it and show it to you in just a second. And those are pretty easy to use as well. If you give me just a moment, I will show you. As I said, I just had it out a moment ago. Had it in my hand, so I might have just dropped it somewhere. So I'll show you that in just a moment. This particular one looks like this. It's this Alterations ticket strip, as you can see there. And it gives you this strip of tickets right here. Then there is the KS Craft one. Oh, no, you know what? I take that back. It's ZF Party. Cute ticket. And it looks like this. And you will get these tickets from that one. So if you're on a budget, that's definitely something that you can do. If you can spend a little more, you can get something like this. And you can also get tickets if you get the Sizzix Thinlets, and they look like this. So these are the Thinlets, and it brings this particular one. It is, let's see, this one is 665926. I think that's the item number, and you have 2 tickets and then a couple of other things that come in this one. Then they have the tickets one, which looks like this, and it gives you all of these tickets here. And then I think I used a couple of these from here, and you'll see a little bit later what I did with this one. So you have different choices and different price points for you. So you can use those things to get your tickets. Or if you have a paper punch, you can cut down your paper and, you know, just a hole punch, a paper hole punch, and you can just use half of the hole punch to cut out the little edges here, and that will give you a ticket as well. So let's get started. So you're going to need some kind of black ink. So you can use the Memento ink or archival ink like this. And by the way, the chat is open. I have a moderator, and if you have any questions on the way, please stop and ask. I don't mind at all answering your questions. So we'll need black ink. We will need some kind of a stamp block in order to stamp our stamps on here, and then we will definitely need some stamps. Stamps that I'm using this evening are And you can pretty much use any stamp set that you have. I am making vintage ephemera because I will be working on some steampunky things coming up, so I need some vintage ephemera. So I'll be using the Stampers Anonymous collection by Tim Holtz, and this one is Eccentric. That's the name of that one. I will be also using, let me see, the tickets. Of course, they have a tickets one. This one's called Ticket Booth. These are so much fun. And I will be using this one, Field Notes, for this particular project. And then a couple of other stamps, and I'll show you those on the way. So to get started, and by the way, a lot of these things I have listed on my Amazon, so if you are interested, you can go there. I will be linking some of the things later. The main oxide inks that I'm going to be using this evening will be Lost Shadow, Bundle Sage, Weathered Wood, Black Soot, Ground Espresso, and Speckled Egg. And for an added touch here and there, Antique Linen. But really, this is a really good cohesive group here. If you just want to stick maybe to the Ground Espresso and then give yourself a little bit of a brown colored, you can use Antique Linen, Brush Corduroy, or Vintage Photo. Basically what I'm saying is that if you only have 2 inks, work with that. Whatever it is that you have, work with that, and you'll be just fine. So you don't need all of this, the extra ones. If you just have 2 inks, that'll work for you. Okay, I'm just showing what I have and what we'll be using this evening, but by no means am I saying that you need all of those. Okay, so then let's see. You'll need some kind of a spray bottle or water. Definitely you need some water, so spray bottle. You can use that. You can use, lots of us have this little bottle here. You can use one of these just to spray in order to add some added dimension and distress your stamps. And then what I have here is a box with a bunch of tickets already cut out for us so that we don't have to worry about that and we can just go to town, right? So that's what we'll be using this evening. And to start, so let me show you a few tickets that are already just stamped. Just white cardstock. What I am using here is a 80-pound, this is Nina Solar Crust 80-pound cardstock. You can use any cardstock that you have, although when we use the water on it, you definitely want something that's 80 pounds or higher. I tend to use 80 or 110-pound cardstock for this type of project, especially if I'm going to be using multiple types of mediums, which is what we're doing this evening. That's important. So let's get started. Let's get this party started. Let me pull out some of these stamps so that we can work on this. Let's see. I'm going to start with this one first. I have them in these packets because these tend to fall off, and the packaging it comes in, it usually just breaks off, so I put them in little envelopes. Anyway, so let's just get started. So the way that I like to do this is I will take a couple of rows of my stamp, my tickets, excuse me. Let's work on those 3 first, right here. And then let's pick out a few from the stash that I have already cut out. So I have, let's see, you can do that. Maybe that one. We'll move these to the side. let's see. That looks cute. We can do this. That looks like a postage stamp. Let's see. And I have, let me see, tiny little postage stamps as well. So any dies that you have, or even if you have, if let's say you didn't want to do a ticket and you just wanted to do something with a circle punch, you can do that too. The sky's the limit here. You can use whatever it is that you have in your craft room, like circle punches, a star punch, heart punches. You can make a ticket pretty much out of anything, or just ephemera for your projects, right, in general. So let's pick out a couple of, this is the white cardstock. I also have tan or off-white cardstock that we can use, and that will give you a whole different feeling to your project as well. So let's do 2 of those. Let me see, let me do that. 1 of those. Let's just pick some, right? Here, let's do a label. And let me put these to the side. Let's see. You can do little tags like those, or even a little tag like that one. Okay, so what we want to do is basically take our archival ink or memento ink. You want something that is going to be, that will dry quickly, and these have been really loved, as you can see. These are old and they keep going. And by the way, I have this nifty little trivet here on the side, because when we put our ink pads here, they tend to slip. So I found that if you put it on one of these trivets, it's easier to work with. So let's see, I am going to start with this one, and it's a circle. I also have this nifty little like salt cellar, and that keeps my chamois, as you can see, that's well loved too, moist, so that I can go ahead and clean my stamps off when I'm done. So, and put them back away. Anyway, let's see. I don't think I introduced myself. Did I introduce myself to my new people here? I am so sorry. My name is Ivett, and this is Turquoise Studios. And we will, like I said, be working on tickets today. So I'm going to stamp off once to see how my ink is doing. And what I actually do is, I generally have, where's that paper? It's right here. I generally have a piece of cardstock with me. Looks like this. It's all messy. As you can see, I was stamping earlier. And I'm going to keep that here to the side. And that helps me kind of stamp off to see how it's doing. And then what I'm going to do is, this is pretty large, and I don't necessarily want just, it's not going to fit, first of all. And second of all, I don't mind doing that. And now I have 2 parts to that. I have, it now became 2 different stamps, as you can see. And I'll do that there. So this is super random. It's just having fun. If it doesn't look nice, it's okay. It's just paper. No problem there. As you can see, I just have my chamois to the side. Or can you see that? It's right there to the side. And I just clean off my stamp, put it back in. That's it. Very, very simple. I'm going to take this butterfly one here, and I'm going to go ahead, ink that one up. As I said, I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it to the side. That also takes a little bit of the ink off if I want a more muted look. So you see, get this versus this darker one, and that's okay. That works for me. I also forgot to mention that I have this Memento ink in Ladybug red, and I will randomly put some red on here very lightly here and there, and it'll give you a really cool effect. I'll show you in a second here. So let me go ahead and put that there. Let me see. I want partial butterfly there. You see, you have your chamois, and that helps you clean up right away and clean it up later or whatever. Or like I said, you could just put it on top of your scrap piece of paper if you don't want to deal with cleaning the ink later. And I think I will do that with this one. I will go ahead and I just want like a part of it there. Super random, but it will give a very cool effect. Put that one back. Let me see. Let's use this one. This one says collect. It's an identification check. And I'm going to go ahead, ink that one up. And I'm going to actually put that on the whole, that one there. I'm going to put this one sideways right there, so you can see going up and down on here. And let's see, where else do I want this? I want it here on this one. You know, I'm gonna do this. Let me go ahead and put this so that when we are done, I don't have to waste your time cleaning that up so you guys can see the actual work. Go ahead and put it here. If that's too hard to see, please let me know. All right, cool. Something else that I like to do is have a scrap piece of paper and say that I just want this part of the writing in it. I can just go ahead and do that, and I'll have just that, as you can see there. And I think I'm going off camera, but when I go to the side, all I'm doing is just wiping this off lightly. I don't worry too much about the ink on the stamps, just so that it doesn't spread everywhere when I put it back in the packaging. And then we can still work with this block. I have a bunch of blocks here next to me which are larger, but for now I think this one is working, so it shows you that you really don't need too much to get a very cool effect. Let's see on this one. See, this is the whole stamp, and this is what I got, which is pretty cool, I think. Just that part. Let's see. This part here says field label, and I just want to get just that part. So I'm going to see. And it says field lab. It's kind of cut off, but it looks nice so far. And then let's see, let's do that effect where you can use the stamp to stamp off the top and the bottom, and you have two different effects there. Let's see. This one has a pretty bird. Let's try this bird, you guys. I want this part of this bird on here. Have a butterfly, and let's do this bird stamp on the side. That looks pretty cool. And some of these will be tickets, actual tickets, and some of them will just have random things on it so that I can add to different projects, right? And then, like I said earlier, you can have just a partial part of the stamp showing. Let's see, so I just want that part up there. And you see, and I got on that, I don't mind at all. And you see the bird is cut off, I don't mind at all. You'll see at the end how this will all work and look beautiful. So So what is everyone up to this evening? Do you guys want to put in the chat what you guys are doing today? Are you crafting along with me? What are you doing this evening? Want to share for me in the chat what you guys are up to? And as you can see, I'm just randomly just putting my stamps down. That's all I am doing. Nothing crazy, nothing weird. It's very simple, super easy. And as you can see, I stamp just partials here and there, and it starts to come together very nicely. Let's see, is there another one? Yeah. So with this one, I'm going to stamp off in red, and I want a light red, so I'm going to stamp off a couple of times before I stamp it down, and that will give it a vintagey look. I'll do the same, stamp it off, stamp down right there. Black. Some numbers. So here I did a little bit of a black and a red, and you get that deep dark red there. And let's see. And that's it. For that one. Okay, put the stamp set away. I'm going to go in now with, let's see, where are you? This stamp set, we talked about it earlier, it's called Eccentric, and it's got a few cool stamps in it. Well, all of them are pretty cool, I think, but let's go ahead and work on these. And pick this one up, that's called Luggage. I mean, it says luggage. I said it's called luggage. And I'm going to stamp that one there. Let's see. I'm going to put this one there. And as you can see, they're coming together. And of course, we're going to add some cool elements in a moment. I think 2 of those should be fun. Put this away. Just cleaning off my stamp a little. Picked up a circular one. This one says made factory 513. Interesting. Oops. Didn't mean to do that, but it doesn't look bad. And as you can see, I just did like a quarter of it there. Partial there. And then let me pick up a number. We don't have enough numbers on these. Let's see. So this one says 1913, but I think I just want the 191. So I'll do that and stamp off the 3, as you can see there. 19 on that one. The whole 1913 on that one. And that's how you can play around with your stamps. And from one stamp, now you can make 4 different stamps. And let's see. Oh, Lena, what are you making for dinner? You're totally going to make me hungry now. I haven't had dinner, so. Am I invited? Invite myself for dinner? Let's see. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Let's see. Where did that go? I just want the boxes on that one. So as you can see, I kind of eyeballed it. So you really don't want to think too much when you're doing this. This is just fun. Just, you know, position some stamps here and there. Unless you want to be intentional for whatever reason, then by all means do that. But honestly, this is a project that will turn out, I think, stunning no matter if you unintentionally do something or if you're super intentional and then make it brilliant, right? So wipe that down. Let's see. I want, what's that other stamp set? Can you see it, right? Here, this one. I don't think I showed this one. This one's called Correspondence. This one's lots of fun too. And move this one to the side. And I like that I have a couple of arrows and airmail and received on this one, so we're going to go ahead and use that. See the circle. So there. Oh, I've been neglecting this. Part of it, let's see. Okay. I have this one. It's like a little barcode. And I will go ahead and use that here and there, like up there, anywhere where you feel like you want to fill. Go ahead and add it to all of that. Let's see. Where else do I want this barcode? Nowhere else. That's good. And then this one has little fun numbers that you can use. So I'm going to add that one there. And as you can see, some of them I go ahead and I just lightly tap. Some of them I want super dark. It just depends. There's no right or wrong to this, ever. So on this one, I just want those numbers. Let's see. This has some numbers, number 247, and I want to do that there. And let's see. And right there. And I'm okay with that. Here's this. Chicken and veggies. That sounds so good. It sounds delicious. I'm not quite sure what we're going to be having for dinner yet. Thank you for sharing that. I do appreciate it. The oxide, so that's what I'm going to talk about in just a second, but how do I like them so far? I don't know how I feel. Oh, by the way, if you have a really nice manicure, this is not the project for you. Because it will get ruined, or you'll have to do a lot of cleaning. But as far as the oxides are interesting. So they're new to me. I've had them for a little bit, but I haven't really played with them. I was playing with them earlier today, and I found that it does some interesting things, and we're gonna get into that in just one second. So let me see. what can I tell you? Well, I can tell you what the difference is. I did look that up. So the difference between an oxide and a distress ink is that a distress ink creates a grittier antique look, whereas an oxide, they are a little creamier in texture. And you'll find that these inks, you know, suit different projects, dependent on what kind of project you're interested in doing, right? So what I noticed is that the distress inks definitely are more reactive with water, and they take a little longer to dry. So I have my little nifty heat tool specifically for that because it takes a little bit longer to dry. So if you're into mixed media as I am and you want, you know, instant gratification, it's not going to dry right away unless you take the heat gun to it and dry it. It'll stay kind of what's the word I'm looking for? A little tacky for a bit. So as where the distress inks, these guys will dry much faster, and they have an opaque finish, where the oxide is kind of like a hybrid, I think, right? And it's because it's two inks in it, right? It's pigment and dye. So that's what I found so far. But we'll play with those in just a second once I'm done with these the tickets and altering them for you. So let me go ahead and finish that real quick, so that we can get into the oxides. What is your opinion on the oxide, Lena? Can you tell me, have you worked with them in the past? What are your thoughts? Oh, thank you. Lena says it looks cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's I think it's a cool way to A, build your stash. B, if you have, like for instance, I had some projects and I had a bunch of white paper left over, and you can definitely use those smaller what are they called? I'm thinking of too many things at once, of my die cuts, and you can just, you know, go ahead and you know, die cut away and make this, and you don't really have to think too much, you know, unless you're being intentional about your project and you need, you know, something specific in there. You really don't have to think too much. You don't overthink it, and just be done and have a ton of these ready for you to use. And I'll show you guys in a little bit what I am going to use some of these for. And let's see. And oh, this little stamp here is pretty versatile. So it's just a postage stamp. But what I like to do is I just ink the little wavy lines, and that gives a really cool effect in areas where you just need to fill, like here. I just had that little area there, and that's pretty cool. So it kind of helps you fill areas that otherwise you're just at a loss as to which stamp you're going to use, because it gets kind of overwhelming when you have way too many stamps. Let's see. Oh, I have this arrow. Let me use this arrow. And I'm using both sides of it there. And I just want part of that, so I'm going to bend that back and use that there. Stamp it off and use it there. There we go. Alrighty. Put that one back. It's a tiny little number stamp here. And I can use that there. And just you know, fill up your area as best you can. And let's see, just like that. And I think that's good for now, so that we can move on to using those distress inks. Let me get this out of the way, clean it up. And let's see, how are we doing? Is it raining where you guys are? It's horrible over here. It's cold, gloomy, rainy. Clean my fingers up just a little bit. Alrighty, I'm going to move these tickets over to the side. We can finish those later. And now the big reveal. Clean this off. Here we go. And we have some tickets. I'm so glad that that helped, that information helped. And now you get to visualize it. I'm going to go ahead and use them now. So this is one way of creating your tickets. Another way of creating your tickets is by, let me see. So here I was testing out the oxides on here. You can actually take a sheet of paper and ink it all up in different ways and then stamp on it and then cut them. I just don't like doing that personally because I can never cut straight. So when I use my my little you know, if I'm going to cut it out or if I'm going to use my my tools for that, I tend not to cut in the right place. So there, now you have a little tidbit on me. I can't cut straight, or sometimes, I mean, I tend to eyeball a lot of things, but still it just works better if I do it this way. And then I guess I am being a little intentional by doing that, right? So what I will be using again is the oxides. At the end, I may be using some of the distress, depending if I want more color in a certain area and not necessarily worry about the drying time. And then a sprayer of some sort, does not have to be this one, any sprayer will work. Even having a little bit of water on the side and then just dropping water, and you'll see what I'm trying to say in just a second. And you will need some kind of tool. So if you have a blending tool such as this one, or the, you know, the flat ones, it doesn't matter, or like this, that's fine. I will be using these brushes. I find them to be super helpful in this, for this project. So that's what I'll be using this evening, but you can use whatever tool you have, blending tool you have. So I'm going to start with the Lost Shadow, and I am just going to go in and take some of the ink and go in, and you can see like it hardly shows up, but you'll see in a moment how that changes, and it's pretty cool. And as my stamping was on, you know, there was no intention, it was just going for it. It's the same with your ink, unless you have a specific project that you're working on, you really just want to play with your ink. And that's what I am about to do here. I'm just going to take that. So I'm going to take that dauber and put it away, and then let me see, I'm going to pick up weathered wood, this one. And again, if you only have 2 inks, use 2 inks. 1 ink, 1 ink, that's fine. And to do that, and I'm randomly adding it in different areas. And like I said, look, it's tacky and it just stays. A little more there. That's it. Let's see. I am going to add one of my favorites, which is Vintage Photo. Now, I don't know if it's my favorite in the oxides, but it's definitely in the distress. And I'm going to go ahead and then randomly in different areas just add some of this here and there. What I have found with the oxide is that you can go over different colors and it gives you a very nifty look. Let's see. Okay. See. And like I said, I'm being super random about it. And now I am going to go in with my ground espresso ink. And even in it, they just look, it looks really different. If you're used to the distress inks, these are definitely a different look. You can see that one's pretty juicy. That's another thing. I've noticed that some of them are a bit dry. Ranger, if you're listening, some of these are dry. These are brand new. And some of them are very juicy. Yes, thank you so much, Lena. Thank you for stopping in. Enjoy your dinner. Please do subscribe and make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you know when I'm on live, or it'll let you know of any new videos. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, there will be a playback for sure. Yes, I will make sure to save the video at the end so that you can come back and take a look at it at your leisure. Thank you. I do appreciate your time. Have a good night. Enjoy your dinner. It sounds like it's delicious. Alrighty, let's see. And I'm going to go ahead and play with this one. It's called Speckled Egg. And that looks like that. And as you can see on the brush is white, and this looks like it picks up a lot, but really it's somewhat juicy, but you would think that the payoff, the color payoff, would be more, but not really. Kind of interesting. Here, I'm going to do a lot on this one, on one side there, and you'll get to see. And it looks like I'm really going hard, but I'm really not putting a lot of pressure. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to use a color called Bundled Sage. I think that it will go nicely. I know I didn't really mention it, I think, earlier, but it is in front of me, and why not? Let's use it. Oh, this is nice. This is very nice. It almost looks like this vintage green. I like that. And let's see, I'm gonna go right here. And right there. Let me see, how are we doing? Half of that. Let's do this. And now I am going to grab, let's see, brushed corduroy. And as you can see, it looks mustardy, but you'll see how it applies almost the same as in the ink pad, but you will see when we spray this, you'll see what this looks like. It's an interesting interesting color. And as you can see, I'm not worried about wiping my surface down. I will be using all of that ink that's there in a moment. Let's add a little more to this one. I hope this video is helpful for you to use all your extra bits and pieces that are left over. Now I did this on white cardstock for you, but if you have any other color or pattern paper left over, you can always stamp over that and you will be surprised how cool it comes out. The effects are just charming. You'll see. Just grab your old scraps and go ahead and use stamps on top of that, and you get a whole new life out of a paper pack. And then let's see, we're gonna go to my next color. Let's go back to ground espresso, just for kicks and giggles. Let's do that. Kind of anchor this a little bit, give it some depth with a darker color. So like you see, I'm just playing around and I'm assessing. I'm liking the color palette that's going on here. And as I said, I'm going to anchor these with a little bit of a darker color here and there. And don't be afraid to move your stamps around, excuse me, your tickets around. That gives you a whole other perspective on them. And you can, you know, adjust your color, adjust how much pressure you're giving it. Definitely helps. I think that's good for ground espresso there, or maybe a little bit here. Add that there. Right here I have a little white halo of color, or no color. Right here on the side of this one. See color turning out. It's pretty cool. See, just maybe on the edges of this one. And let's go back to our vintage photo. Oh. Ground espresso. Back to vintage photo. Like I said, if you don't have any distress inks or oxides, it doesn't matter, distress ink or oxide. Here is, look how well loved. It's filled with paint. I like to, I think if you go to the Ranger website, they have their little, the colors for you, but what I did is I punched out a bunch of little butterflies, and this really gives me an accurate color on them. But what I was saying is that, and here it is. This is vintage photo in the distress ink, and this is the oxide. Look. Do you see that? There's a difference there, but when you put it down on paper, I like that it's somewhat similar. And what did I do with, here we go, my little brush. And now I'm just going to go in the areas where I feel like I need a little more color and depth, like I said earlier. And let's add this one. And we are almost finished here with this part of the project. Let's see. So I haven't asked you, I didn't ask you earlier, but I would love it if you would hit the thumbs up. That really helps my video. And if you're not following, why are you waiting? you're missing out on a lot of cool videos. It's always my pleasure to try to inspire you and help you harness your creativity by adding more techniques to your arsenal of techniques. Let's see. I think we are good here. Let me go back to Lost Shadow one last time. And I think this is one of their newer inks. I'm just seeing how, okay. Kind of test it out since I haven't really worked with this ink very much and make sure that that's what I want. Some right here. All right. And like I said, this is super random. I know I keep saying that word, but it is. Alrighty, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take our spray bottle, and this is where the true magic happens with this project. Clean my fingers off a little bit. Alrighty, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly spray, but I'm also going to manipulate my sprayer so that I get some drops of water here and there, and you will see the cool thing that happens. Do you see that? Do you see how that's reacting to the water? Let me see. How cool is that? You'll see it more in just a second here as we keep going with this product. And then if you have like water droplets, you can go ahead and just touch your paper and you will see how so very cool it'll start changing. And let's see, so let me see, what was that? The weathered wood didn't change as much as per se the brush corduroy did. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start drawing these. But you can see how cool this effect is. So like on this one, it kind of muted all the colors out. And this extra ink that's on here, you can just go ahead and pick that up and just dry. And they'll straighten back up in just a moment. Are you guys watching any, what's your favorite TV shows? Are you guys watching a specific TV show at the moment that you want to share? Let's see, I'm going to add a little more water here and there. And then, like for instance here, I feel like this color that I used here, which I don't remember, I can see weathered wood and possibly lost shadow. All the color went away. Let me make sure these are really dry and we can go in there again. And like I said earlier, this is where you would come in with maybe your distress inks or more oxide, but make sure you dry it. Right? So let's see. For instance, this one, let me see. I'm going to take the vintage photo that might have some on there, and darken that up a little bit. And there you have it. You have these beautiful vintage tickets. They're pleasing to the eye. There you go. And then this one, you can tear this off if you want to, or use the full thing. And that's what they look like. Here are some of the ones that I made earlier today. So we have, let's put these are the ones we just completed. Like so. There's that one. I made that earlier. Here's another one. You can see how cool that effect is on there. There's this one. This one is still kind of turning, the one we just did. Very similar to this one. But you can see similar inks and different outcomes. The amount of water used on that. Here's one with that red ink. I like that quite a bit. And this one was just the one ink on there and almost no water. That looks pretty cool as well. This one I used black soot on, something that I didn't use this evening, but that's kind of a staple. So like vintage photo black soot are a staple to have, especially if you're working with mixed media. Let's see, what do we have here? This one. Here, to give you some contrast, here's an unfinished one. That's what that would look like. And let's see. Here's an unfinished one in the tan color, or excuse me, the off-white color. Now, what would you do with all of this? Well, there's different things that you can make with this and add to. I have made, where are you? Here it is. Well, I'm in the process of making. Put these floaties to the side. This little book here. And here's another tag that I made earlier, or excuse me, a ticket. I'll show you. It looks like so. So here is a flat mail or happy mail situation that I've made, and here we go. So I still need to add some pockets. Here's a pocket that I need to add to here, but a way to you can gift these to someone is, you know, you can make a little flat mail envelope. So like for instance, I have three pockets here. There's one, there's another pocket. You can fill these up, you know, with tickets. Put the tickets in there, take that off, add more tickets, and you can send it off to someone. You can gift them little tags like so, and then there'll be another pocket here, of course, and you can do that, and then make it super pretty, add some twine, you know, and send it off via mail to someone. That would be so pretty, like so. I can't tie a bow today, obviously. I have weird fingers going on here today. What is going on? My specialty is tying bows, but obviously not today, right? Because we are live on camera. It is not quite happening, but yeah, so this is something that you can do. Like I said, it just takes a few minutes, tie it off, add a couple of elements here for your recipient, and make these beautiful little tickets. And like I said, they're super, super simple, super easy. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Make sure you thumbs up. And this is my show for this evening. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that I can inspire you to make really cool tickets. And Like I said, you don't have to just make the tickets. It could be different things. Use all of your scraps up. Please subscribe, and I will see you soon. Make sure that you are subscribed to my Instagram for updates as well, and Facebook. Just follow all the socials. I will see you guys soon. Have a great evening. Thanks. Bye.